Good morning and welcome to Finally Friday Facing the Lions podcast. It is finally Friday, but I should have said welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. As you know, Friday is always our chance to challenge. And I'm just wondering, as we take the challenge on Fridays, are you up to the challenge? Are you up to the challenge of making your better self feel better and stay balanced better? Are you up for the challenge? You know, I always start out with, there's a lot of challenges as you look on your social medias, and everybody jumps to the chance, and we want you all to be able to catch on to the challenges that we're asking of you this day, challenging yourselves. How many of you are actually up for the challenge of making something better about you? Lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. Lines are open at 661-503-8993. Better yet, you can leave us your message right here. Jump online, and you can find us on YouTube, and you can become part of our challenge of challenging yourself. A lot of people think that we're doing good. We're doing good. You're screaming. That we're doing good. But many of you have not yet taken the challenge. What am I talking about? Taking the challenge that many of you send us very nice notes and you say, you know, we're doing good. You love our show, you love our podcast, you love what we try to do, but many of you are not accepting the challenge that we're offering. By the way, in the screen, you can see our YouTube page. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is on YouTube, and we are growing, just so that you know. Every Friday when we come on Fridays, it's about challenging nobody but you. And I dare you to take the challenge. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Good. What are you all thankful for? I'm thankful that I have had a busy week. So busy in that I didn't even realize that we are at the end of the week. What are you all thankful for? And lines are open, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. What are you thankful for, Trish?
I'm thankful for waking up this morning. That's what I'm thankful for.
I'm glad to hear that. Accepting challenges. How do we accept challenges? There are many quotes that help us to understand about our challenges. When we think about the hard struggle that we all have to go through, the harder the struggle, the more glorious the triumph is. Our growing is in our discomfort. We've talked about our brevity, being brave, being courageous. That's what our lion power is that we become strong? Did you know that you are braver than you believe and stronger than you seem, smarter than you think? I want you to reflect back on the hardest thing that you've ever been challenged with. How did you fare with that? How did you come out of that? Well, you look back at whatever it was, though it be big or small, and you say, wow, I really got through that. You know, it takes power. Even if it's not your own power, God's power got you through that. Jehovah God's power. But even before then, did you all know that we were born with an inner strength? This is how. When we look at babies, they have survived in the mother's womb since the time of conception. They don't have a clock, but they know how to eat. Nobody tells them to pacify themselves or looking for the passy. They know how to learn to suck. And that I mean for survival. You oftentimes see them when you go and get sonograms. They can be seen sucking on their fingers. You even see them pulling at their mother's umbilical cord. And we encourage you, pregnant ladies, please take your sonograms. It's a beautiful sight when you get to see your baby's inner strength. Oh, did I forget to talk about the heartbeat? That is unique in itself. So you were born with inner strength, but yet I challenge you this day to use your inner strength for something great. You have the ability to be able to be resilient from the things that you have indeed faced. The way I want to go about this today is to give you some encouragement. Could you use it? Sure, you can. You know, we face our journey in life. We're facing it. We're going to be at road stops that challenge us to review, reset, and push forward as we navigate through life. What do? We look at ourselves and we begin to think, how am I going to navigate my life? You're being challenged. You know, when you're on the road and the road says detour, but you need to get to your destination, do you just road stop? When you see that word detour, you know, some people see that word and they panic. But yet, it's all mapped out for you how to get to your destination. Have some of us had to detour our lives? I know I have. What about you, Trish?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, we've got to detour. We've got to change our route, change our way of doing things. That happens quite often if there is road blocks, road work, any anything that's going to get in the way of us. What do? We say, well, we're going to do exactly what it says and detour. Can you picture that sign in your mind? Detour. If you've got anything, I want you to take some notes today that might be useful to you and remember the sign detour. You can even write a detour sign as you think about your life. Is there something in your life that you need to detour? That's going to take honesty to be able to look at that, because some of us have had to change our way of challenging ourselves. We say, wow, in the detouring process of our lives, we are taking a different way. Good morning, and thank you for being on Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And it's Damon. Thank you for joining us. Where are you listening to us? What state? Please and thank you. And we have our YouTube page. We're asking you guys, please, to go click like over there. And you are going to be able to get in touch with us in our social media pages. California, welcome. So now, if you got the detour sign in your mind, I want you to look at that detour. I want you to look at it as a visual. If you have a device in your hand, pull up the detour sign. What does that mean to you as you look at your life? What would you detour in your life? Because you just learned an amazing fact about yourself, that you've always had inner strength from the time you were in your mother's womb. You've always had inner strength. That's power. Now, think about this. Something we need to detour and change in our lives. Maybe I need to get restful nights, because I'm noticing my sleep pattern is terrible. Like, I feel like the newborn baby that cannot get the times right. By the time the daytime comes, I'm exhausted. So there's something I need to change and detour in my life. Anybody else? Anything else that you can think of, Trish?
I would say I'd like to detour taking a break. That's what I'd like to detour.
Taking a break. And what are you going to take a break from?
I'm going to take a break from basically doing a lot of things that I don't have to, and I'm going to actually relax. That's what I'm going to take a break from.
Okay. So when we say a lot of things, what is the specifics that you'd like to?
Specifically speaking, I'm going to take a break from, I'd say doing a lot of chores or just spending lots of time with, speaking with people when I need my rest, when I need to actually relax.
Was that hard for you to do when I asked you that?
No.
Yeah. Because some people, the reason why I say specifically, because, some people see the detour sign, and did you know that some people ignore that? What do you think would happen if people saw that detour sign and they say, well, we're just going to take the same route and see what happens? What do you think would happen? Anybody? You're going to come into roadblocks. If you don't take the detour, there's a reason for why it's telling you that. Now, what does that have to do with what you just said? Sometimes we notice things and we see it in our mind, but we're not catching on to it. We say we need this, person going to the gym and doing this. They say every year they're going to do something better. It's just like that roadblock. And if we don't stop and pay attention to the things specifically, you just shown our audience specifics instead of just saying, I need to do this. Knowing what you need, awareness of what you need. That's power. Thank you for that, Trish. Thank you. So, how do we change and challenge ourselves? We do a lot of talking around here, don't we, Trish?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do a lot of talking, guys. We do a lot of talking from the inside out. You're not behind the scenes when Trish and I are talking. And one of the ways to challenge ourselves is to be able to turn our wounds into wisdom. How many of you have learned and experienced something painful? Anybody?
I have.
Yeah, I have. And how many of you would say, I'd like a repeat of that, or I want more of that? How many of you have done that? Said no one. Have you learned from your wounds? Have you saw the wisdom? Because you see, some of us are wounded and we refuse to look at it in a different light. Your pain can turn into your wisdom by your willingness. Your wounds can turn into wisdom by your willingness. Wound, wisdom, and willingness. What are you willing to do about the pain that you are in right now? Talk about this very much. I challenge you to start learning from that pain. People, again, and I can't stress this enough, people are handed down medically terminal illness. Emotionally, people have been through a lot of trauma. Those are wounds. People go to war and they've been wounded. And they'll sit and they'll tell you about their experience. And you'll say, wow, that really had to hurt them. What are we using our stories for wisdom? Wisdom to help yourself and help someone else. Because you're not a person that is hopeless. You are hopeful. How many of you feel hopeful? I mean, really feel hopeful.
I do.
Yeah, me too. But many of us are still working on ourselves, and we will continue to work on ourselves, turning our wounds into wisdom, everything that you've been through. In fact, you could, and this is a beautiful idea, you could make a deck of cards because everybody loves to play cards. And you can number them, and on each card, I want you to list your one wound. You could have a deck of 10 cards. I'll give you that many. But then I want you to make the other deck of 10 what you did about that wound. You see, because life has a good hand that it deals you, and life has a more challenging hand. So let's say you're going to take the good hand and you're going to name all the things that you did with those challenges. That helps you to turn your wound into wisdom. How you did that. There has been mothers that have turned their wounds, their tragedies, into lifelong community help centers. They've been wounded, they've been scarred deeply, and they have lost tragically. I've been in meetings where they've lost their kids all at one time, and they've chosen to do what with the wound? Learn from it. Be wise with it. Now, your struggles. Did you know that your struggles could help someone else? Because people always want to know what? How did you do it? How many times have someone asked you, how do you do it? About anything. How did you do it? Has anybody ever asked you that?
Yeah, someone has asked me that before.
And what did they ask you? About what in particularly?
They're asking me about how I just drop music like back to back, and they're like, "How do you do that? I can't write like that." And I was like, I don't know. Personally, it just comes out of me. Like when I'm inspired, I write. That's what I told them. That's how I do it.
Guess what that is? Your triumph. Something that you have already inside of you. That's your winning. Like with me, people say, well, how did you start this? And then you have a radio show. How did you do it? You see, I turned all my struggle and I used the strength and the power that I know to make it triumphant. What am I saying to you? That when you challenge yourself, you can win. Growing up, you remember when you were first growing up? Good morning and welcome to our program. We're talking about challenging yourself. And where are you listening in from, please and thank you. How many remember when you were growing up? Growing up. Do you remember any discomfort? I can remember my oldest son always tripping over his feet because he was getting tall. When you become in the puberty stage, you start experiencing different things because your hormones are growing so fast. Girls may be different, and every growth spurt is different. But have you had a growth spurt lately and it hurt? Or a growth spurt and it really was, this feels really good? Have you had any situations like that? I recently had a growth spurt and I felt really good. Sometimes we have to grow from toxicity. And when we get away from the toxicity or the discomfort from it, we have a newness about ourselves and about our ways. Have you grown from the discomfort that you faced in your life? Maybe it's not a toxic relationship. Maybe it's something that you've been uncomfortable with. And you've challenged yourself to be comfortable. A lot of people don't like to speak publicly. But I'll tell you what, Vibe Talk sure makes you do that, doesn't it? If you want to. So, how about you? Are you brave? Did you once believe that you were not brave enough, and here you are, you found yourself standing up for yourself? I challenge you to do that. And if you're already doing it, do more of that. Remember the times when you felt like you were the one being picked on, but you said, nope, I'm not going to be the victim anymore. And you said, wow, like Urkel, did I do that? Yeah, you did that. And when it came out for you to make a decision for yourself, no one else made that decision but you, and you challenge yourself to be able to think about it, you intelligent human being, challenge yourself to more of that. You know, we go to the gym, and I love this because all of you guys get this. And we do workouts to gain physical momentum. See, because we all have the capacity to be able to join the gym, right? We join the gym, and then we say, wow, that person is fit. I don't know what the words they're using now, but the last word was, that person is fit. But you see, it wasn't the strongness that got them there. It was their ability to be able to will it to power. See, because nothing changes our challenge until we are willing it into power. Think about that one. So your strength is coming from your willingness. Because everybody that goes to the gym is not fit. And I don't mean that they don't belong in the gym. I mean that they're not fit because they are not willing to accept the challenge to be in shape, fit, if you will. So challenges. How do you look at the word challenge when you think about challenging yourself? Challenge to me means, I got to do some work. How do you look at challenges, Trish? The word challenge.
I look at it as like a dare. That's how I look at it. Like, I dare you to do this. And that's how I look at it. And I love that I look at it like that because I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm going to do the challenge because you dared me to. So life dared me to. So I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you proven. But our challenges in life, let's look at them as gifts that force us to be able to have newness to us, centeredness for us. Don't fight them. Just gain momentum in being able to stand in all your challenges. Remember how I talked about the detour sign? Life is like that, and more signs. There are all kind of signs. You could make up a poster about road signs that you need to stop, or that you need to proceed, or that you need to use caution with. I challenge you to make that poster. You see, because in life's journey, when we are having difficulty on our roadways to a journey, we've found new destinations. One time I had to take a detour and I found a store that I really was looking for. Had I not taken that detour, I probably wouldn't have ever ran into that store. You see how life does? So be willing to take that detour, but beware, because there are more signs to come. I challenge you. So you're struggling today. You're being challenged at this hour right now. That's a question with an exclamation point, because I know that you are. We struggle each day. Each day is a struggle. Good morning, Warren. Thank you for joining Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And where are you listening in from, please? And thank you. We are talking about challenging yourselves. So, you say that you're struggling today. But I want to ask you something. Is your struggle going to help you for tomorrow? Many of you have already said, well, Miss Nisi, tomorrow has not come, and you're right. Tomorrow is not here yet. But did you know that you can start developing the strength that you need in order to face what you're facing right now for tomorrow? Because tomorrow is going to be a whole new set of challenges, just so that you know. So, how many times in life have you made a mistake? Too many to count? Yeah. Even if we fall, we always get back up. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that a baby, upon learning to walk, you don't have to tell them to get up. Because guess what? They fall down and they get right back up. What's the object? The objection, or objective, using that word properly. Good morning and welcome to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We're talking about challenging ourselves. A baby gets up no matter how many times they fall because they have an objective. What is their objective? Anybody know? Get back up and walk. To walk. How many of you are learning to walk? You physically know how to walk. But again, we're talking about walking through the journey of challenges. How about being able to think about what happened in your past, but then being able to give yourself permission to live for the future? And as you live for the future, all those little things that come your way, or the big things, you're going to be able to compare and contrast and build who you are within yourself. Yeah. We think about people judging us. We've been judged before. We've judged others before. But now, think about this. You may be counting how many times I've made the mistake, or how many times someone has done something wrong, but you forgot to count the times you got back up. That is the key of challenge. Getting up is a challenge for so many people. And if you have to start over, okay, do that. Some people have started their lives over. Conquer yourself. That means gain control of you. You are mighty than you think when it comes to all of those negative feelings that you have. And I'm going to tell you right here in Vibe Talk has been some of the most creative people that I've ever met. Conquer those things. Those are winning things about you. We're going to be right back as we take a break because today's challenge is pretty deep. We're going to be right back for you. Stay tuned and stay with us as we face challenges. Facing the lion is always possible. And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week, what did you face this week? This challenge. Facing the lions, facing the lions. We're back, and we are facing challenges today with ourselves. Wouldn't you say that living is the challenge? We think about ourselves in that when we fall, we rise. How many times have you fallen and got back up? Or how many times are you willing to fall? You know, you look at so many people who have a zest for life. You know, I watch so many people when you go to amusement parks, they will get on the most death-defying ride that I could only dream of. And they will challenge you to get on that ride with you or them. How many of you have taken that challenge, not knowing the outcome? Anybody? Nobody? Some of you out there are daredevils. But as you are facing challenges and making dares, I ask of you to accept the challenge of falling to rise again in your own strength. You know, we see that we have beautiful minds. You all are very creative. I've spoken to so many people over the years that tell me what they do for a living, what they've done, and I'm, wow, you know, that person is really smart. You know, the mind is a beautiful part of us. Think of the things we can do with our minds. You know, in your challenges, you can use power over your mind, the power to be able to realize that you will find strength in your challenges. You know, we also look for self-help groups such as this podcast, counseling, whatever it may be. I ask that you continue to do that, because the only way that you're going to challenge your way out of the situation is to go through it. Yeah, that part. How about this? Hard work. How many of you enjoy hard work? I do. Do you?
I do.
I enjoy a hard day's work because I'm not a lazy person. And when you work hard, you're going to see the fruits of your labor. So think about the hard work. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion is all about inner work. If you haven't discovered that yet, we're all working on a piece of us. If I were to just give you assignments and just say, work on the whole you, the whole you needs a makeover. Well, you wouldn't take to that too kindly. But every day is an opportunity for me to work on parts of me and you to work on parts of you. Finding strength to be the best you. Nobody is going to give you that. You must work for it. It's working here. Have you ever saw a rock bottom? Anybody knows what rock bottom looks like? Anybody? You know, rock bottom looks like a solid foundation for the opportunity for you to start rebuilding your life. So the next time somebody asks you about rock bottom, you're going to hit rock bottom. That's the solid foundation. Stand up. That on which you're standing on. If you were to hit your head on the rock bottom that you are standing on, you would probably have a concussion that may lead to more serious problems. That's rock bottom in a physical sense. But now, in a mental and emotional sense, I want you to view your rock bottom as the very foundation on which you're going to start to say, I challenge myself to do something different in my life. Yeah. You know, we tell you not to look at the sun. Doctors will tell you, don't look at the sun. And that's true. Don't stare at the sun. But I want you to put your face in the direction of that. When you look at the sun, is the sun up or down? Think about that for a minute. Where is the sun? Trish?
It's up.
Yeah. I want you to keep your face up when you think about life. So keep your face upward. And everything that has pained you, everything that has made you who you are in your life because of those wounds, they'll eventually be behind you. You won't put them in front of you. Let the sun shine in. So I want you to be able to face your challenges. I want you to hear of some of the things that really has helped people. This is what I love about Vibe Talk. I am truly moved by inspirations. I've always been moved by certain inspirational quotes. Here's one by Helen Keller. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Have you dared yourself to have an adventure in your life? Or are you just sitting there and repeating the same pattern? Here's one from Rosa Parks. I've learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. How many times have you made up your mind about something and it was going to be on that day, whatever day or night it was, you made up your mind, and fear diminished. I'm going to show you the raw side of how people have made up their minds, and I want you to think about how powerful the mind can really be. There are people who are sitting in prison right now as we speak because they made up their mind to do something of a criminal nature. They're in prison for it. Because you see, they weren't scared of anything or anybody. Now let's flip that. If they can do that, think about what you can do when your fear diminishes and you have your mind made up. Yeah, that part. When you think about this one, the only the only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubt of fear today. Does fear limit you not to challenge yourself? I've had people literally tell me, I'm afraid to come into your class. That's why we've made YouTube. That's why we've done streaming, because I know this. To change yourself is quite the challenge. You just have to have the willingness to want to. That's why we don't chase people. You come, you go, we allow that. I love this one by Jimmy Dean. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. You know, people say, I'm in a circumstance and I can do nothing about it. Woe is me. That may be true. There's no denying that. But you can change your reaction to that. Yeah. Yeah. Think about that. Love this one. To handle yourself, use your head. To handle others, use your heart. That's how you respond. We're going to be right back with Trisha's Treasures right after these messages. Stay with us here at Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast.
Face my eyes, face my eyes. Face my eyes, face my eyes. Change is hard for me because I'm not focused on me. So what do you need to change about that? You need to focus on yourself. How do we do that? We don't become blind to everything around us, but we have an incredible desire to help ourselves. You know how people say, may I help you? Ask yourself, may I help myself? Give yourself permission to help yourself. Because if you're always thinking about making the change, but never doing anything about it, you're never going to see that change.
We're back. And thank you guys for joining us. We're streaming all over the place. And now I turn it over to Trish for treasures.
I always talk about my college experiences. So, because they have taught me very much, they've taught me a lot. And one particular situation happened to me when I practiced. I practiced a speech that I was going to do for public speaking. Me and my classmates, we had the order ready. We had our lines memorized. I memorized my lines without reading the paper. We had it all together. I had mines all together, and it was time to present. And when we were presenting, we were expecting she does her part, and then it comes to me, and then we end the speech. That's what we were expecting. But it did not turn out that way. It did not turn out that way. So while we were doing our parts of the speech, my teacher stopped us and asked us questions about what we wrote and what we were studying. And we froze. We were like, he didn't tell us that he was going to do this? Like, but the plan was, if he did decide to twist things up a bit, our plan was just to keep going, because what we wrote in the speech was, we memorized it and we understood what we wrote. So that was the point of the speech. The point is to keep going, and we understood what we wrote. So when he stopped me, I was shaken, because I was the first person he stopped on. I was shaken. I was like, oh no, this is not happening. But I remember the plan. The plan was, if he decided to twist things, to keep going. And that's what I did. I kept going. I answered the questions. I actually got a 95 on the speech. I'm very happy about that. And I say this to say, things don't always turn out the way we plan it. There's always a detour sometimes. Sometimes when we're baking a pie, we undercook it. And the detour is to put it back in the oven for about 10 more minutes so it can finish baking. But we cannot allow the things that do not go as planned to stop us from continuing forward. We have to keep going, because we know why we were taking this path. We know why we are taking this journey. And we started the journey because it matters. And as much as it matters to you, that should be your drive to keep you going forward, no matter the detours, no matter the mistakes. Just keep going and facing your challenges.
Yeah. Now for our last question, what did you learn or discover about yourself during today's podcast? And how did it make you feel? Trish.
I learned that in spite of the pressure of things not going as planned, the fact that I keep going, that shows that I am a strong person, and I always had inner strength. And this made me feel powerful today. It made me feel like I have to practice on showing my inner strength to myself and telling myself that I am strong in spite of the challenges.
Nice. Today for me is understanding the challenges that we have to be faced with on a daily basis, to constantly examine myself and see how I'm doing. Am I growing? Am I still having growth spurts? And if I am, there's nothing wrong with the growth spurts, because I understood that I was having growth spurts. hurts, and that the way that I would challenge myself 3 years ago is not the way I would challenge myself today. So upon thinking of that, I felt impactful, that this was impactful for me. In case you're all wondering, Trish and I do not have any scripts. I research information. I bring things that I learn into the program. And we hope you guys are still listening. Next week is going to be a very special week when you hear us live. And we're asking that if you know of any males, men, fathers, sons, brothers, nephews, uncles, husbands, partners, make sure they're there next week, because we're going to look at the man, the essence of the man, and his emotions. I think it's going to do us a lot of good. So we're putting out advertisements for that. I will send you one, Trish, just so that you know what it looks like if you haven't already seen it. But we're constantly talking about emotions, but I want you guys to think about the male perspective. If you want to get on live with us, we want to hear from you, men, because we know you have emotions. It's going to be very powerful next week. I'm excited about it. Don't forget to check into Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. I am hosting that. And our music, we keep smooth and chill. You're always welcome to call in with dedications. You're always welcome to shout someone out. We keep it live, smooth, and chill. That starts at 8 o'clock California time here and on Instagram at vibe_talk. You can get right on. And if you want to dedicate songs, our direct connect is always available. 661-503-8993. We look forward to it. In the meantime, I want to say thank you to Trish. Thank you for an amazing week. We got through it finally on Friday. The time has went by so fast. And thank you to every last one of you that have tuned in some way. We see your support. We see our demographics changing. Just because there may be people not in our studio home does not mean, and I want you to hear me, virtually doesn't mean there's no one listening. I've discovered that. We're going to talk about that next week. In the meantime, have a great, safe weekend. If you're doing anything inspiring, we'd love to hear from you. You can always text us or leave us a voicemail. All of the information is here. And we hope that you have accepted facing your challenges on Facing the Lion podcast with Trish and myself. Have a good day and a very great, amazing weekend. We'll see you back here next time on Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast.
Because I don't want you just to make a resolution. I want to think about. I was really about the moms and then I got the vibe with it. I really took the time with it. I really love to ride with it. 3 years, really got the vibe with it. Took the time with it. I really love to ride with it. You can really see I'm better you. When you get the vibe with it, yeah. When you get the vibe with it, yeah.